Hey there and welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Jessica, and in today's video I wanted to talk about chronic inflammation. You might have heard about how chronic inflammation is linked to many different types of diseases, things like diabetes and even different types of cancers. But did you know that chronic stress can often cause chronic inflammation? So let's dive into the most common causes of chronic stress leading to inflammation. So I want to make it clear that some inflammation is actually good. Inflammation is actually very protective for the body, and it is also a sign that the body is healing. However, when we have chronic inflammation, that's where we tend to have a problem. It's when we can't break that loop of inflammation that we start to use the body's resources, kind of contributing to that inflammatory pattern. So that's when we start to get a lot of symptoms like brain fog, chronic pain, even different types of digestive issues. So I wanted to break down 5 common ways that chronic stress can cause chronic inflammation. So as we talk about how chronic stress can cause chronic inflammation, let's keep in mind when we talk about chronic stress, we can be physical stress. So say you're training too hard and you're not giving your body enough recovery. We can talk about chemical stress, meaning that there's some toxic exposure, maybe in your environment or the products you're using, or some sort of chemical exposure coming from, say, food allergies or food sensitivities. And we are talking, of course, about emotional or psychological stress as well. That can elevate cortisol chronically, which over time can contribute to inflammation. So one common way chronic stress can promote inflammation is through the reduction of a molecule called secretory IgA. So when we are chronically, let's say, emotionally stressed due to work, life, and just adulting, that can cause an elevation in cortisol. And when it's chronic, that cortisol stays elevated chronically. Now, that chronic elevation of cortisol causes a reduction in secretory IgA. Now, I have a whole video about gut health and about secretory IgA, so you can click that here if you want to take a look and dive in deeper. Long story short, secretory IgA is protective of our mucosal lining, especially of our gut. It prevents foreign antigens or foreign bodies from really interacting with our mucosal surface, and that in turn prevents inflammation from happening. When we have a decrease in that secretory IgA, that can lead to more antigens touching the surface of our mucosal surfaces, and then that can cause things like leaky gut. That can lead to systemic inflammation. Now, another way that chronic stress can lead to chronic inflammation is when we have, again, chronic emotional or psychological stress that can lead to that production of cortisol or the elevation of cortisol. And that elevation of cortisol also makes us have a tendency to store more fat. So not only increasing our fat cells, but also increasing the volume of those fat cells. And when those fat cells become larger, they become also more metabolically active. So they start to release different hormones as well as pro-inflammatory cytokines. And as the name suggests, those pro-inflammatory cytokines produce more inflammation. A third way that chronic stress can promote more inflammation is chronic chemical stress. And chronic chemical stress can lead to oxidative stress. Long story short, oxidative stress is when the body is overwhelmed or no longer has the ability to eliminate free radicals or reactive oxygenated species. And the problem with these free radicals is that they cause tissue damage and, of course, inflammation. A common example of this is too much sun exposure, which can then damage your skin as well. Now, a fourth way in which chronic stress can contribute to inflammation is that chronic stress can interfere with your gut-brain axis. Now, this is where the gut and the brain literally are talking to each other and having some sort of feedback loop. And it can also affect your microbiome as well. Now, we know we're learning more and more about our microbiome and all the things that it is responsible for. A change in that microbiome can lead to more inflammation, which can in turn also lead to more issues with your digestive tract. And a fifth common way that chronic stress can contribute to inflammation is that, of course, chronic stress can interrupt your sleep. It is very important that we have a healthy sleep cycle and that we go through the different stages of sleep and stay in them for the correct amount of time. Because in those different stages of sleep, different metabolic processes are happening. And one really important one is that our glymphatic system is actually very active. Our glymphatic system is the lymphatic system of our brain that is responsible for a lot of cleanup. And this usually happens in different stages of sleep. So if chronic stress has interfered with our ability to sleep, then we're not getting that cycle of cleanup that should happen. And that can result in more inflammation, which can then result in things like brain fog and you having a really poor memory. All right, I hope that this video was helpful and that you learned something. Stay tuned for part 2 because we're going to talk about how to assess inflammation and also what to do about it. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up because it helps other people find the channel. And of course, be sure to hit the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.